Welcome to the ANEW Body Insight Podcast, empowering and inspiring your journey to optimal health. Hosted by Dr. Supatra Tovar, clinical psychologist, registered dietitian, fitness expert, and author of Deprogrammed Diet Culture. Rethink your relationship with food, heal your mind, and live a diet-free life. And Chantal Donnelly, physical therapist and author of Settled, How to Find Calm in a Stress-Inducing World. Here at City Club Los Angeles, we follow our guests' journey to optimal health, providing you with the keys to unlock your own wellness path. Tune in and evolve with us. Hello and welcome to the ANEW Body Insight Podcast at City Club Los Angeles. I am Dr. Supatra Tovar.
And I am Chantal Donnelly, and I am so excited for today's guest. This is a really, really, really good friend of ours. Tracey Mallett is in the house at City Club today. Let me tell you about Tracey Mallett. There's a lot to tell as far as what she has done with her career. So sit back, relax. This is going to be a good hour-long intro, I would guess, for everything that this woman has done in her life. So here we go. Tracey Mallett is a world-renowned fitness and wellness expert, best-selling author of Sexy in 6 and Super Fit Mama, and the creator of the hugely popular workout, bootybarre and bbarreless. Her workouts have allowed her to work in roles spanning from television host to author to personal trainer and creator of best-selling line of Pilates dance and fitness-based videos. She has sold over 2 million units to date. 2 million units. She has solidified her reputation as an international fitness and wellness expert. She has been a fitness professional for over 25 years and prides herself on being an innovator. This is true in the Pilates and fitness industry.
Mm-hmm. Tracey owns a Pilates bar and physical therapy studio in Los Angeles called ATP Training, which we all used to work at. Yes. And has certified thousands of trainers worldwide, including myself, for the last 10 years in Pilates. And then she's also certified thousands of trainers worldwide for the last 10 years in her program, bootybarre and bbarreless. Her most recent venture is a new app, Pilates Bar on Demand, delivering the best infusion fitness workouts with new weekly videos.
We're really excited that you're here.
Yes. I'm very excited to be here with 2 amazing women.
Aww.
And I got to pass it on to you, really. I know them very well, both of them very well, and they both need a little kudos for what they've achieved, because I know this is a little bit off script, but I know this is supposed to be about me, but I actually met Chantal when she just kind of recently-ish moved to LA-ish, you know. I won't go with the dates because we forget the dates as we age. And we just opened ATP, which is my little studio. And she comes and takes an interview. And I'm like, wow, I love this girl. She could be my best friend. And seriously, she did become my best friend. We hired her, and that was amazing. And we've been best friends ever since. And now Supatra comes along, a newbie in Pilates. She's like, I'm just getting certified in Pilates. She was like really excited. She was doing your acting and all that kind of stuff at the time. Like, this is going back many years. And she come in and she was one of my best Pilates instructors because she always had this beautiful smile on her face. Just look at that smile. Exactly. So I always think, and this is one thing about being a fitness instructor or whatever instructor you are, when you're working with the general public, of course, there's some science to it. Absolutely. And we'll talk about that when we go through, our conversation today. But really, it's the heart, it's the personality that really draws people to you. It's about the energy. And you can see that these 2 ladies, and I will include myself, I'll give myself a little pat on the back a little bit. We have incredible energy because we love to help people. And that's why we're here for you today.
Yay.
That's right. Nice. So Trace, you started out as a dancer and then became a Pilates instructor. And that was before you became super famous.
Super famous. I actually started, obviously you can tell from my accent, it's kind of a little screwed up now, but I originally born in the UK, in the Midlands, near Manchester, Birmingham area. I went to college, theatre art school at 16, to a theatre art school. And one of my first classes on my timetable was called dance conditioning. I'm like, God, I don't want to do this. I want to come here to dance. I'm not doing a conditioning class. Walked into this class, and actually that class turned out to shape me for the rest of my life. It was half on the bar and it was half on the floor. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Wow, I can feel my inner thighs. I can feel my abs. I'm like, oh, this is good. I can slim my legs down a little bit. This is feeling really good. Didn't know that my dance teacher happened to be a ballet teacher. She was a Lottie Burke instructor, which was one of the innovators within the bar industry that not all of people know. And because it was very big in London at the time. And she was also very much into Pilates because she was a ballet dance teacher. So it was her version of it. And realized that I was doing bar. And then we'd get on the floor and we're doing these floor bar, but it was really based on Pilates. And that was my first introduction. I was like pretty much 16 years old and fell in love with the fact that, you could do all these fun things. But it was really, I have to admit, it was from an aesthetic point of view. I'm not one of those Pilates instructors or fitness people who say like I had bad back and I found Pilates and it cured me. It was a pure vanity. Which you both of you can attest to that, right? Pretty much.
Well, yes. I would you say that it also helps you mentally?
Absolutely. I mean, definitely. Fast forwarding it to sitting here right now, I think Pilates and fitness and dance, however you want to put it, has been totally the backbone of my life through everything that I've gone through in my life and everything. Absolutely. I think if it wasn't for being able to move and being connected to your inner soul, your inner body, I don't think I'd be sitting here right now.
That's true.
It's so true. So true.
Even though some health issue didn't bring you to Pilates, you recently, in the recent past, experienced a pretty significant health scare. What happened and how did this have an impact on you and what are you doing, in what you're doing now?
Well, very interesting. I think this is a good topic specifically on what you're doing now with stress and everything. I truly believe that the reason I got sick was stress. I really do. There's no scientific reasoning behind that. I just really do believe that was what happened. At the time, I created this fantastic program, bootybarre, which is a fusion of Pilates and barre. And barre wasn't really very big then. This was around 2009, actually. The downward economy wasn't very good, we all know, in 2009. And I had a lot of Pilates instructors that I'd actually trained that were like, God, I need to put something in my Pilates studio that will a little less expensive than Pilates. You got to remember, this is a long time ago. A little less expensive Pilates, but kind of similar to Pilates so that I can make some money. So I'm like, okay, well, we love that new video you put out there, that bootybarre video. It's doing really well. Can we just take that video and copy it? And I'm like, yeah, go copy it. I'm like, no, but we need you to train us. I'm like, really? And I'm like, yeah. So we put a certification together. Well, it wasn't really a certification at the time. I put a course together. The all Pilates instructors started it. And then that kind of snowballed the whole bar craze. And I'm a very humble person, but I do pride myself that the bar industry, specifically in the fitness industry, was driven by me. There were obviously a lot of other people involved in it too, but they were mostly more franchise, which is more the Lottie Burke. I actually brought Pilates to the bar. So even now people are like, oh, this is bar. No, it's Pilates standing at the bar. There's a big difference because I come from a very strong Pilates background. So it just kind of like overnight, just blew up. It was like bizarre. And it was never, ever anything that I planned. And all these people like, can we take this certification? Yeah. So anyway, it just went kind of like, as we would say now, viral.
Right.
Viral. And so I was traveling all over the world, and it was hard. I mean, small kids at the time. My parents lived, nearby, so that was great. But it's just so much stress. And then started getting migraines. And I remember actually having a photo shoot, and I looked at this picture and I was like, that's weird. Why is my eye dilated on one side and the other one isn't? And I remember going to my photographer and I'm like, can you airbrush that out? Remember? Like, can you just get rid of that? And he's like, oh yeah, that's weird. I'm like, yeah, I never noticed that before. I swear to you, I didn't think anything of it. I'd have migraines every single month. And it was kind of it was around like ovulation time when your body really inflames. You get more edema, you get more inflammation is the word. And so I went to doctor after doctor. Oh, it's just migraines. My mum had migraines. You're just taking after them. Okay. Took every medicine, nothing worked. So, traveled a lot, which doesn't help, traveled a lot. And then I went to England after being in Dubai, went to Boston, went to somewhere else. And in a period of 5 weeks, so my brain, it took a lot. Got to England, went to Blackpool. I know I was going to have very international people listen to this so you understand where Blackpool is, right? So I went to Blackpool. I was teaching doing a certification in a workshop. And I remember feeling really sick and I must have collapsed. So my poor mother and dad drove all the way up to Blackpool. It's just a migraine. I'll be fine. They took me, picked me up. I was kind of disillusional, but I was like, okay, I've just got a migraine. Brought me back to the Midlands, took me to ER, emergency. I was out of it, don't remember, and it took a CAT scan. And the first thing they actually said, what's wrong with her eyes dilated? And that was why they gave me a CAT scan, was because the eye was dilated.
And you had never had a CAT scan in the United States.
No. I mean, you got to also think and we're all in denial, which is one thing I would like to say to everybody is I'm a picture of health, but you never know. That doesn't mean anything, I would never have believed in a million years that I would have been rushed in to an MRI to wake up to find out that I had a brain tumor as big as a golf ball in my head. I mean, how is that? When I'm a fitness expert, I do everything I'm supposed to do.
Right.
But one thing I didn't do is really be able to control stress, which has been for all of us, especially me, because I'm a bit of a go-getter, too much. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe that was one of the things.
Well, you said that there's not really a scientific basis behind stress causing physical ailments, but that's actually not true. There's plenty of evidence.
There is.
We're doing a lot of research on that. And Chantal is our resident expert in this and knows plenty about what stress can do to you physically.
I think so, because even after going to the doctors, they're no, they don't really know. It was a meningioma. And thank God it wasn't cancer. But
I'll never forget, Tracey had the operation to have the tumor removed. They flew her back from London, and then she had the it was at Keck, yeah?
Yeah, it was actually, Keck.
And let's see, I think the surgery was on a Monday. By Friday, you were in heels at a party. And that's the way Tracey rolls. I still remember being at that party with you and thinking, she just had brain surgery on Monday and here she is.
I'm really thankful. I give a shout out to Keck, USC, because I literally flew back after they told me I had this brain tumor, and I'm in the UK. They're not exactly got a great bedside manner. And, go back to your family in California, spend what time you got left with your family. I will never forget. My mom was in the room and I was just like, what are you saying? I'm going to die in not so nice words. Wow. And so that whole month, and you was with me at the time, that whole month, they told me that they found something in my liver, that this was the primary and this was the secondary. So I flew back, and it was for probably about 4 weeks, I thought I was going to die. And I think even today I can't say without because that does change your whole perception on life. Because you think 1 minute you're healthy, the next minute, boom, it's gone.
It's gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a really trying time.
Sorry.
Yeah, I remember that time. It was pretty intense. And it was intense for me. I can't even imagine what it was like for you.
Yeah.
It was.
Anyway. But I think from a positive note, I think when something like that happens to you, it does change your whole reflection on life, that we're so goddamn lucky to be here. And we all should sit and smell the roses a little bit more and listen to ourselves, listen to our body, and really be appreciative of every breath we take, because you just don't know when it's gone. And we really should. We're always so geared moving on to the next thing, into the next thing, into the next thing. Such high achiever, which I am. Such a high achiever. Such a strong work ethic. But it was not that I would want anyone to go through it, but I'm so glad I did, because I sit here and I'm a better person.
How have you changed? Like, how do you find balance now, knowing how important it is for you to do so?
When something trivial comes up, like you break your nail, I'm kidding, really. He's like, oh God, I can't get to my manicurist. No, I'm kidding. No, I think when things are going bad, I always reflect. Oh, I think I'm going bad, but they're not. I always reflect to that time. Just, it's still really painful to reflect to that time. And I'll be like, God, I'm so lucky. I got a great family. I got a great home. I got a great life. Why?
Yeah.
Your health is everything. Your health is everything. And so I feel like when people don't make it a priority in your life, you're doing a real misservice to your body, your mind, and not only for you, but for your family around you. Your family needs you. So why are you not taking care of yourself?
I think women in particular need to learn this in, a very important lesson, because, I always tell my clients, you got to put the oxygen mask on yourself first. And most women, especially, when they become mothers and they're trying to run a business or they're working, they put everything else before themselves and their health suffers. But if they put their health first, they could be better at work. They could be better for their families, for their kids. I think it's vital. So
it is.
I'm glad you learned that lesson. We love seeing you out there killing it and crushing it, but we want you to do it and be healthy. So we're really glad.
I think you creating the app kind of was one way that you didn't have to travel as much. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, going back to 1996 was when I was teaching fitness at a fitness club in Pasadena that's not there anymore. And I remember somebody watching me, and my group coordinator, and she was working with someone, a director producer, who was looking for a girl that could fuse things, who could do Pilates, who could dance, who could do all that thing and be a performer. And she found me.
That's you.
I auditioned, put on this method show in Fox Fit TV in 1996, because in that time, they had all these fitness shows on. Do you remember all those fitness?
Yeah.
And right by the beach, and they were doing the step aerobics, all those videos. And Gilad, do you remember Gilad,
Yeah.
and Denise Austin? Well, actually, he was a big producer with Denise Austin and Cal Pozo. And he was the first person who saw me, and he was like, okay, you're going to be in this new method show. And he put me in front of a camera, and that was actually the turn. That was the turn of my career, going from just like an instructor, but actually put onto camera and hosting and da-da-da. So that was but actually why I wanted to just mention that was because in 96 was the first time they put Pilates on a video. So, and then in 96, the video, it was a Betamax or a VHS.
Yeah.
So it was like, but they went for VHS because obviously they dropped Betamax. So I can honestly say, like, I've been on like a Betamax or VHS, and then we fast forward to here and use virtual stuff now. But yeah, that was the first time they put Pilates. That was the first time they put Pilates on a DVD, and it was with two other ladies, and that was like the real start of Pilates in the media, like in the not social media. There wasn't social media then, but really in the media part of it, really. So it's quite interesting, and that was when they fused methods together too, and that was the innovative fusion. So it was part of the innovation of fusion, which is everywhere now. Fusion's everywhere. Pilates is booming after they did the Saturday Night Live skit like a few weeks ago. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely see the Saturday Night Live skit, because seriously, Pilates is booming after COVID. You know, it just went boom. But it's really been here a lot longer.
Well, describe your app for us so people can get a picture of what that looks like.
So because I'd done so many videos in the past, and I started producing my own videos, actually was when Ty was born, my second child, which was 2003. I produced my first video, which cost an absolute arm and leg. And I remember taking all this money to produce a video. It had 3 cameras, it had the jib, and it had all the people behind me. It had Deborah Rosen, who was here, one of your guests. She was in it. Right. And you were in it too, Chantal. She was in my booty bar video.
Yeah.
She was in my booty bar, and she was fantastic. So I had all these videos, and I was like, oh, this would be a great way to pop it onto an app. So it was before COVID. I've always had it before. It was just really a way of just putting it on an app or on a platform. Then COVID came, obviously, and everything went all on Zoom and apps and da-da-da. So the market got completely saturated, because now you can get anybody and everybody like online. But it was a great way for me to be able to record, put new workouts up there, and it was a great way to reach a lot of people internationally that have followed me for years or have done my workouts for years.
So anybody can sign up for the app.
Yeah.
And do you have a new program on there right now?
Absolutely.
That I might be involved in?
Well, aging gracefully. Let's talk about age doesn't define you. I truly believe that. I think hitting your 40s and hitting your 50s, I think for women is a very hard subject to tackle, not only from a physical, but from a mental point of view too. And from a mental point of view, it is challenging, because I'm always in camera. I'm always looking at myself, which is really challenging, And so we're always so critical of ourselves, and we age. And then I also think, why would anybody want to work out with me anymore? I'm old now, I know I'm being very transparent here, because I'm a very transparent person. What you see is what you get. And that's what a lot of people like about me. I'm very to the point, and I talk the truth. It is so true. If I tell you like, oh yeah, I feel great, I'm super confident, I can go on there, I'm aging, I still look great. That's not me. I have to work at it to look like I do. And which is why I feel I've inspired a lot of women to look after themselves. So I did do a program, Fit and Strong Over 40, even though I am in my 50s. I think it's very important that everyone starts looking after themselves, and it's earlier the better as they hit their 40s. Definitely, they have to. And you were involved in it too, about how we can reduce our stress, because that's the biggest thing with cortisol levels, and how that's impacted people's workouts.
Yeah, that's what's affecting our hormones for sure. The hormone imbalance is all related to cortisol. So I bring in the stress piece in Tracey's new program. And tell us a little bit about why you created that program personally. I know you kind of went through some stuff when you hit, was it 40, 45?
Well, actually, I feel fortunate in the most place, like perimenopausal. I've been quite fortunate in the fact that I have not had huge symptoms compared to a lot of my colleagues and friends. However, I'm such a high energy person. My energy levels still pretty high, but not the norm for me. I also, gained weight in areas that I never thought I would ever gain weight. And when you're on camera all the time, and I say this, you got to understand, look, this is from my personal opinion, from my lens, how I perceive it. And people out there and looking at me like, oh, you look fantastic. What are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, but I have to work at it to look like this. And you got to remember, I watch myself on camera all the time. So I see things, yeah, I have a pretty good body. I'm not denying that, but I have to work at it to look and feel this way. But I remember, I decided I'm going to do this workout, and I actually filmed some videos, and I watched these videos, and I'm like, I started to cry. I was like, oh my God, who's that? And I remember having this feeling when I just had Amber, which was 22 years ago, my daughter. And I remember, and I kind of like put it in parallel. I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, whose body does that belong to? Oh, my mom. That's what I'm supposed to look like. And then I look at myself in this video. I'm like, oh, I'm 50. That's what I'm supposed to look like. I'm like, hell no, that's not what I'm supposed to look like. I want to look and feel good how I want to look and feel good. And that doesn't mean to say, you can judge me on how I look. I've got to feel good in myself. And if it means I need to maybe lose a few pounds, that's my prerogative and that's my choice. Because people are so judgmental at looking at you. They think that you were born this way. You don't have to work for it. I'm like, you have no clue. You should never judge people by their cover for a startup.
Well, we are going to come back to that because we are now going to take a little break, and we will be back for the second half of this episode. Thank you so much for joining us, and tune in next week for the second half of this thought-provoking interview with fitness celebrity Tracey Mallett. Thanks for tuning into the ANEW Body Insight Podcast. Please remember, the content shared on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. You can find us anywhere podcasts are streaming, on YouTube at my.anew.insight and at anew-insight.com under the ANEW Body Insight Podcast tab. Follow us on our socials at my.anew.insight on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more updates. Tune in next time and evolve with us.